Chosen one, before the strikes happen, use this. Now it's allowed. That stirring in your spirit, that pulse racing through your veins, it's not random. It's heaven's alarm clock, sounding with divine urgency, calling you to a moment that was written in the stars before you took your first breath. You didn't stumble across this message while scrolling through endless noise. No, this message hunted you down, piercing through the chaos of a distracted world, to find you right here, right now. Why? Because the creator of the universe has something to say directly to you. A truth so powerful it could shift the trajectory of your entire life. Before the strikes of doubt, fear, or delay hit, you're being handed a key, a divine strategy, a sacred permission to step into your destiny. This isn't just another video. This is your divine wake-up call, and heaven is holding its breath, waiting for your response. Picture a radiant door standing before you, its surface glowing with golden light, your name carved in shimmering letters that pulse with eternal purpose. This door isn't locked. It's not barred by chains or guarded by impossibilities. It's open, creaking on its hinges, inviting you to cross the threshold into a life of abundance, divine provision, and unshakable faith. But here's the truth that might shake you. This door has a timer, and the clock is ticking. The strikes, those moments of hesitation, those whispers of not yet or I'm not ready, they're coming. And if you let them land, this door could close, not forever, but for this sacred season, this unique window of divine opportunity. God's plan for you is not a suggestion, it's a summons. And right now, you're being given permission to use the tools, the faith, the courage He's already placed in your hands. Will you act before the strikes hit, or will you let this moment slip into the shadows of what could have been? Let me speak to your heart for a moment, chosen one. I know the weight you've carried. The nights you've lain awake, wondering why your prayers seem to echo unanswered, why doors you've knocked on have stayed shut, why your dreams feel like they're buried under layers of disappointment. You've watched others step into their breakthroughs, their prosperous lives, while you've wrestled with financial struggles, fractured relationships, or a sense of being forgotten. Maybe you've even asked God, why me? Why does my faith journey feel like a battlefield? But here's the revelation that will set your spirit free. Every struggle you've faced wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every closed door wasn't rejection, it was divine redirection. Every tear you've shed has been collected in heaven's bottle, watering the seeds of your divine purpose. You weren't broken, you were being built for a destiny so magnificent it required this level of forging. Think about Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, then a prison, his dreams mocked and his future seemingly stolen. For 13 years, door after door slammed shut. But Genesis 50:20 reveals the truth. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Every betrayal was shaping him. Every injustice was strengthening him. Every delay was positioning him to become Egypt's second in command, a vessel of divine provision for nations. Your story is no different, chosen one. The financial drought you've endured, it's been teaching you to trust in God's supernatural abundance, not the world's economy. The relationships that fell apart, they were clearing space for divine connections that align with your prosperous life. The dreams that seemed to die, they weren't buried, they were planted. And they're about to burst forth in a season of overflowing blessing. This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has spent years convincing you that your fears of failure, of not being enough, of stepping out too soon, are chains holding you back. But God is saying those fears are not your prison, they're your pathway. Imagine a scroll unfurling in heaven, its pages glowing with the story of your life, every fear you've faced written not as a defeat, but as a divine invitation. Each time you felt afraid, You were standing at the edge of a breakthrough, a moment where heaven was whispering, "Step forward, chosen one. This fear is the doorway to your spiritual awakening." Before the strikes of doubt or procrastination hit, you're being given permission to use your faith, to wield it like a sword, cutting through every lie that's kept you small. Let's talk about fear for a moment, because it's the phantom guard standing between you and your divine purpose. Fear doesn't come in with trumpets or loud declarations. It creeps in like fog, wrapping itself around your heart until you can't see the radiant door in front of you. It whispers, "What if you fail? What if you're not chosen? What if this isn't God's plan?" But 2 Timothy 1:7 thunders through the fog. "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That fear you're feeling, it's not from God. It's a counterfeit, a lie from the enemy, designed to keep you from the personal transformation waiting on the other side of this door. Think about Moses standing before the burning bush, trembling as God called him to confront Pharaoh. "Who am I?" he stammered, fear, disguising itself as humility. But God didn't need Moses to be fearless. He needed him to be faithful, to step forward despite the trembling in his knees. You're at that same burning bush moment, chosen one. Your fears aren't disqualifications, they're qualifications. They're the raw material God uses to craft your testimony. Imagine David, a shepherd boy facing Goliath, with nothing but a slingshot and a heart full of faith. Did his hands shake as he picked up those stones? Probably, but he slung that stone anyway, and a giant fell. Your fears are your Goliath, and right now God is handing you the stones, faith, courage, and divine permission to take them down. Before the strikes of hesitation hit, use this moment. Use the truth that you are chosen, that your fears are not your master, that your destiny is not a maybe, but a divine certainty. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel the electricity of divine possibility charging through you, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks below. Your seed doesn't just keep this channel alive, it helps spread the message of divine provision and spiritual awakening to other chosen ones standing at their own doors. But whether you give or simply receive, know that your presence here is no accident. You're part of a holy remnant, a family of faith rising together to claim their prosperous lives. Now let's get practical, because faith without action is like a seed that's never planted. It can't grow. God's plan for you isn't just about spiritual highs, it's about tangible steps that bring your divine purpose into reality. Before the strikes of doubt or distraction hit, I'm going to give you 3 specific actions to take this week. 3 keys to unlock the door of your destiny. First, write down one goal you've been delaying. Something God has placed on your heart. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, or rebuilding a relationship. Put it on paper, make it real, and place it somewhere you'll see it every day. Second, reach out to one person you need to connect with. Someone you've been meaning to forgive, encourage, or collaborate with. Send that text, make that call, take that step. Third, take one small action toward your dream today. Register a domain name for your ministry. Apply for that job or sketch out the first page of your project. These steps aren't random. They're divine strategies to move you from waiting to walking in your breakthrough. Let's talk about a woman named Clara, a single mother in Atlanta who felt stuck in a dead-end job, her dreams of opening a bakery buried under bills and self-doubt. She'd pray, "God, show me a way," but fear kept her frozen. Fear of failing, of not having enough, of being laughed at. One Sunday she heard a message like this, urging her to act before the strikes of hesitation hit. She wrote down her goal: Open Clara's cakes by next year. She called an old friend who'd once offered to help with a business plan, and that same day she baked a batch of her signature lemon cupcakes and sold them to her neighbors. Within 6 months, Clara had a small catering gig, and a year later her bakery was open, bringing in steady income and becoming a beacon of hope in her community. Clara's fears didn't vanish, she used them as fuel, stepping through her door one courageous act at a time. You're standing at that same threshold, chosen one. Your fears aren't here to stop you. They're here to show you what's worth fighting for. Imagine yourself a year from now, looking back at this moment. Will you see the day you hesitated, letting the strikes of doubt close your door? Or will you see the day you said, "I'm stepping into my destiny," claiming the abundance, the divine provision, the personal transformation God has prepared for you? The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking. Type "I am using my key" in the comments below if you're ready to act before the strikes hit. If you're ready to turn your fears into the foundation of your faith journey. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? What if the trembling in your heart is the rhythm of heaven urging you to move before the window closes? Let's dive deeper into what's behind this door, because the truth is about to shake you to your core, chosen one, and it's going to change everything you thought you knew about your purpose. The door before you, chosen one, isn't just an opening. It's a portal to a life where your deepest fears transform into your greatest victories. Picture it shimmering in the spiritual realm, its edges glowing with the promise of divine purpose, its surface etched with the story of your life. Every scar and struggle rewritten as stepping stones to a prosperous life. This door, this moment, is what every tear, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer has been leading you toward. But let's be real. Fear is still whispering, isn't it? It's telling you you're not enough, that you've missed too many chances, that someone else is more qualified for this destiny. That's not truth. That's the enemy's last-ditch effort to keep you from the breakthrough God has already signed, sealed, and delivered. Before the strikes of doubt, distraction, or delay hit, you're being given divine permission to use the faith in your heart, the courage in your bones, and the hope that's been flickering in your spirit all along. Let's go back to that image of the scroll in heaven unfurling with your name written in golden light. Revelation 3:8 declares, "I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Did you catch that? No one can shut this door. Not your past mistakes, not your current struggles, not the voices that tell you you're too late. But here's the catch. While no one can shut it, you still have to walk through it. God has opened the door, but He's not going to drag you across the threshold. He's given you the key. Faith in action. And now He's waiting to see if you'll use it. Think about Joshua standing at the edge of the Jordan River, the promised land just steps away. For 40 years the Israelites wandered because of fear and unbelief. But Joshua, he heard God say, "Be strong and courageous," Joshua 1:9, and he stepped into the water. The river didn't part until his feet got wet. Your door is waiting for you to take that same step, to get your feet wet with faith before the miracle unfolds. Let's talk about what's on the other side of this door, because it's not just about personal transformation, it's about generational impact. Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's for the people tied to your obedience. Imagine a single mother in Chicago, praying for her wayward son, her hope hanging by a thread. Your courage to step through this door could be the spark that ignites her faith, showing her that God's promises are real. Picture a small business owner in Dallas, on the verge of giving up, who sees your testimony and decides to try one more time. Your step of faith could unlock divine provision for them, rippling out to communities, families, even nations. This is what Esther understood when she faced the king, risking everything to save her people. She didn't just save herself, she saved generations. Your door, chosen one, is a gateway to a legacy that will outlive you. A prosperous life that doesn't just bless you, but becomes a blessing to others. But here's where fear tries to tighten its grip. It tells you the stakes are too high, the responsibility too heavy. What if I mess it up? You're thinking. Let me remind you of Peter, who stepped out of the boat to walk on water toward Jesus. He didn't have a perfect track record. Hours later, he'd deny Christ 3 times. Yet Jesus chose him, not because he was flawless, but because he was willing to move when others stayed in the boat. Your imperfections don't disqualify you, they qualify you for God's grace. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your weaknesses are where God's strength shines brightest. Before the strikes of self-doubt hit, use this truth. You don't need to be perfect to step into your divine purpose. You just need to be willing. Let's revisit those 3 steps I gave you earlier, because they're your blueprint for crossing this threshold. First, write down that one goal God has placed on your heart. Make it specific, like launch my online store by next month, or reconnect with my sister this week. Second, reach out to someone who's part of your destiny, whether it's a friend, a mentor, or someone you need to forgive. That single conversation could be the divine connection God uses to shift everything. Third, take one small action today. Maybe it's researching that course you've been putting off, or drafting the first paragraph of your book. These steps aren't just tasks. They're acts of faith, declarations to heaven that you're ready to claim your breakthrough. Don't add more steps or overcomplicate it. Just start with these 3, and watch how God multiplies your obedience into overflowing blessings. Consider Michael, a teacher in Seattle who felt stuck in a cycle of financial lack and unfulfilled dreams. He'd always wanted to start a tutoring program for underprivileged kids, but fear of failure kept him paralyzed. One evening, scrolling through YouTube, he stumbled on a message like this one. He wrote down his goal: start a tutoring program by summer. He called a colleague who shared his passion, and together they planned a small pilot program. That same week, he took one action: posting a flyer at his local church. Within months, 10 students were enrolled, local businesses were donating supplies, and Michael's program was growing, bringing hope to kids who'd been overlooked. Michael didn't wait for perfect conditions. He used the faith he had, and God turned it into a testimony of divine provision. You're standing at the same crossroads, chosen one. The door is open, the key is in your hand, and the strikes of hesitation are looming, but you don't have to let them land. Imagine looking back a year from now, seeing this moment as the pivot point where everything changed, where you chose faith over fear, action over analysis, destiny over delay. Your fears are real, but they're not your master. They're the raw material God uses to craft your spiritual awakening. Psalm 34:4 says, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears." Seek him now, chosen one, and watch those fears crumble as you step into the abundance he's prepared for you. If this message is igniting a fire in your spirit, if you feel the urgency of this divine moment, type, "I am using my key" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just words, it's a spiritual contract, a signal to heaven that you're ready to walk through this door. Join thousands of chosen souls by liking this video and subscribing to stay connected to your faith journey. This isn't about numbers, it's about aligning with a community of believers who are stepping into their prosperous lives together. But what if the door you're facing feels too heavy to push open alone? What if the fears you're battling seem stronger than your faith? Let's uncover the divine strength already within you, chosen one, because the truth about your power is about to shake the foundations of everything holding you back. Chosen one, the door isn't as heavy as it seems, and the fears looming like giants in your mind aren't as invincible as they appear. You're standing before this radiant portal, its light spilling out, revealing glimpses of divine purpose, a life of abundance, and the personal transformation you've been longing for. But fear is playing its oldest trick, magnifying itself to make you feel small, whispering that you lack the strength to push through, that the strikes of failure or rejection are inevitable. Let me speak truth into your spirit. You're not alone in this battle, and the power within you is far greater than any obstacle before you. 1 John 4:4 declares the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world, right now, before the strikes of doubt or fear can land. You're being given divine permission to tap into the strength God has already woven into your spirit. A strength that can shatter every barrier and unlock your prosperous life. Imagine a river, its current swift and unyielding, carving through mountains over centuries. That river doesn't question its power, it simply flows, trusting its path. You, chosen one, are like that river. The Holy Spirit within you is a current of divine strength, flowing through every fear, every doubt, every moment you thought you were too weak to keep going. Your faith journey hasn't been a series of defeats. It's been a process of carving, shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying God's overflowing blessings. Think about Gideon, a man hiding in a winepress, trembling at the thought of facing the Midianites. Judges 6:14 records God's words to him, "Go in the strength you have. Am I not sending you?" Gideon didn't feel strong, but God saw what he couldn't, a warrior destined to lead an army to victory with just 300 men. Your strength isn't measured by how you feel today. It's measured by the one who sent you. Let's peel back the layers of fear that have kept you tethered to the threshold. Fear of failure tells you, what if you try and fall? But what if you succeed? What if this door leads to the financial freedom you've prayed for, the relationships you've dreamed of, the legacy you were born to build? Fear of inadequacy whispers, you're not qualified. But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Look at Mary, a young girl chosen to carry the Savior. She didn't have credentials or experience, just a heart that said, "Let it be to me according to your word." Luke 1:38. Your yes to God is your qualification. Fear of the unknown murmurs, "What's on the other side?" But Hebrews 11:1 answers, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Your faith is the evidence that your breakthrough is already real in heaven's realm, waiting for you to claim it on earth. Let's revisit those 3 steps I shared earlier because they're your practical keys to wielding this divine strength. First, write down that one goal God has placed on your heart, something specific like start my podcast this month, or pay off $500, 0 cents of debt by Christmas. This act of writing is a declaration of faith, giving substance to your hope. Second, reach out to someone tied to your destiny, a friend, a mentor, or someone you need to reconcile with. That single step could unlock divine connections that propel you forward. Third, take one small action today toward your dream, like signing up for a course, sketching a business idea, or praying boldly for your vision. These steps aren't just tasks, they're spiritual warfare. pushing back the strikes of hesitation and aligning you with God's plan for your spiritual awakening. Consider Sarah, a nurse in Phoenix who felt trapped in a cycle of burnout and financial strain. She dreamed of starting a community health outreach, but fear of not having enough resources kept her stuck. One night she stumbled on a message like this, urging her to act before doubt could strike. She wrote her goal: launch a free health clinic by next summer. She called a former colleague who'd worked in non-profits, sparking a partnership. That same week, she took one action: researching grant applications. Within months, Sarah secured a small grant, rallied volunteers, and opened a clinic serving dozens of families. Her fears didn't disappear, but she used them as stepping stones, tapping into the strength God had given her to walk through her door of divine provision. You're at that same pivotal moment, chosen one. The door is open, and the strength to cross the threshold is already yours. Imagine a tapestry in heaven, each thread representing a moment you chose faith over fear. A late-night prayer, a kind word spoken in faith, a step taken despite trembling knees. That tapestry is your testimony, and it's not finished yet. Every step you take now adds vibrant threads of courage, hope, and divine purpose, creating a masterpiece that will inspire others to claim their breakthroughs. The strikes of doubt are coming, but you don't have to let them land. Use the strength God has given you, the faith that's carried you this far, and the permission to act now, before the window closes. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, if you feel the power of this divine moment surging through you, type, "I am using my key," in the comments below. Your declaration is a beacon, connecting you with a community of chosen ones stepping into their faith journeys together. Join thousands of souls by liking this video and subscribing to stay anchored in your divine purpose. This is about more than a channel. It's about a movement of believers claiming their prosperous lives. But what if the strength you need isn't just for you? What if your step through this door is meant to lift others, to break chains that have bound generations, to ignite a revival that changes nations? Let's uncover the ripple effect of your obedience, chosen one, because the truth about your destiny is about to shake you to your core. Chosen one, your step through this radiant door isn't just about unlocking your own destiny. It's about setting off a chain reaction that reverberates through generations, communities, and even nations. Imagine a single pebble dropped into a still lake, its ripples spreading far beyond the point of impact, touching shores you'll never see. That's your obedience, your faith in action, your decision to use the divine key God has placed in your hands. Before the strikes of doubt or delay can hit, this door, glowing with the promise of divine purpose, doesn't just lead to your personal transformation. It opens to a battlefield where you become a warrior, a bridge, a beacon of hope for others. Your breakthrough is the spark that ignites someone else's faith, the testimony that unlocks their prosperity, the courage that breaks their chains. Let's dive into the magnitude of what your yes to God's plan can do, because the truth about your impact is about to set your spirit on fire. Picture a vast tapestry stretching across heaven's courts, each thread woven from the lives of those you're destined to touch. There's a thread for the co-worker who's lost hope, watching your boldness inspire them to try again. There's a thread for the child who will inherit the legacy of faith you're building today. There's a thread for the stranger halfway across the world who will hear your story and believe in God's overflowing blessing. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Those good works aren't just for you. They're for the lives you'll lift, the hearts you'll heal, the destinies you'll unlock. Your step through this door is a divine assignment, a mandate to carry the light of spiritual awakening to a world shrouded in darkness. Let's talk about the ripple effect of your faith. Think of Esther, who stood before a king to save her people. Her courage didn't just preserve her own life, it saved an entire nation from annihilation. When she stepped through her door of destiny, risking everything, she didn't know the full scope of her impact, but heaven did. Your door, chosen one, is no different. That business idea burning in your heart, it's not just about financial freedom. It's about creating jobs, serving communities, and showing the world what divine provision looks like. That reconciliation you've been avoiding, it's not just about healing a relationship. It's about breaking a cycle of pain that's haunted your family for generations. That dream you've tucked away, it's not just yours. It's a testimony that will inspire others to trust in God's plan for their prosperous lives. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Daniel, a mechanic in Houston who felt trapped in a cycle of debt and unfulfilled potential. He'd always sensed a calling to mentor young men in his neighborhood, many of whom were caught in gangs or broken homes, but fear of not knowing enough, of failing those kids, kept him stuck. One evening, he watched a video like this, urging him to act before hesitation could strike. He leaned on those 3 steps we talked about. First, he wrote his goal: start a mentorship group by next spring. Second, he reached out to a pastor friend who'd offered support years ago. Third, he took one action: hosting a small barbecue for 5 teens, sharing his story of overcoming addiction. That barbecue grew into a weekly group, then a non-profit. Today, Daniel mentors dozens of young men, guiding them toward jobs, faith, and purpose. His step through the door didn't just change his life, it transformed a community. You're carrying a similar ripple, chosen one. Your fears might tell you your actions are too small to matter, but God sees the exponential impact of your obedience. Isaiah 55:11 promises, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." Your yes to God is a word sent from heaven, destined to accomplish far more than you can imagine. Before the strikes of procrastination or self-doubt hit, use the strength within you, the faith that's carried you through storms, the hope that's kept you dreaming, the courage that's stirring in your spirit right now. Those 3 steps: writing your goal, reaching out to a key person, taking one small action, are your tools to start this ripple, to turn your faith journey into a wave of divine provision that touches lives you may never meet. But let's be honest, fear is still lurking, isn't it? It's whispering that the responsibility is too great, that you're not ready to carry a legacy this big. Let me remind you of David, a shepherd boy anointed to be king. When he faced Goliath, he wasn't thinking about thrones or dynasties. He was thinking about the next step, the next swing of his sling. 1 Samuel 17:45 records his words, "I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." David didn't need to know the full scope of his destiny to act. He just needed to trust the God who called him. You don't need to see the entire tapestry of your impact to take your next step. You just need to trust that the one who opened this door has already prepared the path beyond it. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel the weight of this divine moment pressing on your heart, type "I am using my key" in the comments below. Your declaration is a signal to heaven, a commitment to step into your breakthrough and carry the light of hope to others. Join thousands of chosen ones by liking this video and subscribing to stay connected to this community of faith, where we're all walking toward our prosperous lives together. Your presence here is no accident. You're part of a holy movement, a remnant rising to claim God's promises. But what if the ripple you're meant to start is bigger than you've dared to dream? What if the door before you leads not just to your breakthrough, but to a revival that shakes the foundations of everything around you? Let's uncover the divine fire within you, chosen one, because the truth about your calling is about to ignite something unstoppable. Chosen one, the door before you isn't just a gateway to your personal breakthrough. It's an entrance to a divine fire that can ignite a revival, a movement, a legacy that burns brightly for generations. Picture this door now, its golden surface pulsing with celestial light, radiating warmth that stirs your spirit like embers catching the wind. Behind it lies not only your prosperous life, but a calling so potent it could spark a spiritual awakening in those around you, transforming hearts, homes, and even nations. The enemy wants you to see this door as too daunting, the responsibility too vast, the strikes of fear or failure too inevitable. But God is whispering, "The fire within you is mine, and it's ready to blaze." Before those strikes of doubt or hesitation can land, you're being given divine permission to unleash the power of your faith, to use the key of obedience, and to step into a destiny that doesn't just change your life, it changes the world. Imagine a single flame in a darkened forest, small but fierce, its glow spreading to kindle dry branches until the entire woodland is ablaze with light. That's you, chosen one. Your faith, your courage, your decision to act now is that flame. Romans 8:19 declares, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." Creation isn't waiting for perfect saints or flawless heroes. It's waiting for you, with your scars, your fears, and your unwavering hope, to step through this door and reveal the divine purpose woven into your DNA. The ripple of your obedience isn't just a gentle wave. It's a wildfire of divine provision, personal transformation, and overflowing blessings that can consume every barrier in its path. Your yes to God's plan is the spark that sets it all in motion. Let's talk about what this fire looks like in your life. It's not about grand gestures or overnight fame. It's about the steady, bold steps you take in faith. Think of Nehemiah, who saw Jerusalem's broken walls and felt a fire in his soul to rebuild them. He wasn't a king or a warrior, just a cupbearer with a vision and a heart surrendered to God. Nehemiah 2:18 records how he rallied the people. "I told them about the gracious hand of my God on me. They replied, 'Let us start rebuilding.'" His fire wasn't in eloquent speeches, but in his willingness to act, to organize, to persist despite opposition. Your fire is the same, chosen one. It's in the mentorship program you start, the forgiveness you extend, the business you launch, the prayer you pray for a struggling friend. Each act of faith fans the flames, spreading light to those lost in darkness. Let's anchor this in a story. Meet Rachel, a librarian in Minneapolis who felt a quiet but persistent call to write devotionals for women in crisis. Fear of not being a real writer, of being judged, of failing, kept her silent for years. One night, a message like this one broke through her doubts, urging her to act before hesitation could strike. She leaned on those 3 steps we discussed. First, she wrote her goal: publish a devotional book by next fall. Second, she reached out to a friend who'd self-published, asking for advice. Third, she took one action: writing the first page of her manuscript. That page became a chapter, then a book. Rachel's devotionals, shared online, reached women in shelters, prisons, and hospitals, offering hope where despair had reigned. Her small flame of obedience became a wildfire of spiritual awakening, touching lives she never imagined. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out to a key person, taking one small action, are your kindling. chosen one. They're not just practical, they're prophetic, aligning you with God's timing and fanning the fire of your divine purpose. Don't complicate it or wait for a louder call. Your goal might be as simple as save $100, 0 cents this month, or as bold as start a non-profit by next year. Your outreach could be a text to a mentor or a conversation with a family member. Your action might be researching a skill or praying over your vision with new boldness. These steps are your declaration to heaven that you're ready to let your fire burn, to step through this door before the strikes of fear or procrastination can dim your light. But fear is still whispering, isn't it? It's telling you the fire might consume you, that you're not ready to carry a revival this big. Let me remind you of Elijah, who called down fire from heaven on Mount Carmel. 1 Kings 18:38 says, "Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil." Elijah didn't conjure that fire. He simply trusted the God who sent it. Your fire isn't your own, it's God's. Burning through your doubts, your limitations, your past mistakes. You don't need to be fearless to carry it. You just need to be faithful. Before the strikes of hesitation hit, use this moment. Use the faith that's carried you through valleys, the hope that's kept your dreams alive, the courage stirring in your heart right now. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, if you feel the heat of this divine moment igniting your soul, type, "I am using my key" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spark connecting you with a community of chosen ones whose flames are rising together, burning through every barrier to claim their prosperous lives. Join thousands of believers by liking this video and subscribing to stay anchored in your faith journey. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement of souls stepping into their divine provision with unshakable courage. But what if the fire you carry is meant to do more than light your path? What if it's destined to burn away the chains of those around you, to forge a new reality where hope reigns and breakthroughs abound? Let's uncover the divine authority within you, chosen one, because the truth about your power is about to shake everything holding you back. Chosen one, the door before you isn't just an invitation, it's a divine commissioning. A call to step into the authority God has placed within you, an authority that can shatter chains, shift atmospheres, and ignite a legacy of overflowing blessings. Picture this radiant door now, its golden light pulsing brighter, as if heaven itself is leaning in, urging you to claim the power written in your spiritual DNA. You've been forged through trials, refined by tears, and prepared by every closed door that redirected you to this moment. The strikes of doubt, fear, and hesitation are circling, but you're holding a key. Your faith, your obedience, your willingness to act now. This is your divine moment to wield the authority of a chosen one, to step through this door and unleash a wave of divine provision, personal transformation, and spiritual awakening that will echo through eternity. Imagine standing on a mountaintop, the wind carrying your voice as you declare God's promises over your life. That's the authority you carry. Not a timid whisper, but a bold proclamation that demons tremble at and angels rally behind. Matthew 18:18 says, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." This isn't just a verse, it's your mandate. Your words, your actions, your faith have the power to bind the enemy's lies and loose God's abundance. Every fear you've faced, every struggle you've overcome, has been training you to wield this authority with confidence. The enemy wants you to see yourself as small, insignificant, unqualified. But God sees you as a warrior, a vessel of His power, a carrier of His fire. Before the strikes of hesitation can land, use this authority. Step through the door and declare your destiny with the boldness of one chosen by the Creator. Let's ground this in a story. Meet James, a carpenter in Memphis who felt trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. His dreams of building affordable homes for the homeless buried under self-doubt and financial strain. Fear told him he wasn't influential enough, that his vision was too big for his resources. One Sunday, a message like this pierced his heart, urging him to act before doubt could strike. He leaned on those 3 steps we've discussed. First, he wrote his goal: build 1 home for a homeless family by next year. Second, he reached out to a local pastor who connected him with a charity. Third, he took 1 action: donating his skills to repair a shelter, building trust with the community. Within months, James secured a small grant, rallied volunteers, and built a home for a single mother and her 2 children. His obedience didn't just change one family's life, it inspired a citywide initiative proving that 1 step of faith can unleash a torrent of divine provision. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out to a key person, taking 1 small action, are your tools to exercise your authority, chosen one. They're not just practical, they're prophetic acts that align you with God's timing. Your goal might be start a blog to share my testimony, or save $200 0 cents for my future. Your outreach could be a call to a mentor or an apology to a loved one. Your action might be as simple as signing up for a class or praying over your vision with new fervor. These steps are your declaration to heaven that you're ready to walk in your calling, to bind every limitation, and to loose every promise God has spoken over you. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Your authority is activated when you move, not when you feel ready. But here's the truth that will shake you to your core. Your authority isn't just for you. It's for the broken, the lost, the hopeless who are waiting for your testimony. Think of Paul, once Saul, who went from persecuting Christians to planting churches that changed the world. Acts 9:15 records God's words, "This man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings." Paul didn't step into that calling because he was perfect. He stepped into it because he surrendered to God's authority. Your surrender does the same. Your step through this door binds the spirit of poverty in your family, looses healing in broken relationships, and ignites hope in those who've given up. You're not just walking into your prosperous life, you're paving the way for others to follow. Now, as we stand at this sacred threshold, it's time to seal this moment with a prayer, to anchor your faith, and to step fully into the destiny God has prepared. Place your hand over your heart, chosen one, and feel the rhythm of heaven's purpose beating within you. Heavenly Father, I come before you in the mighty name of Jesus, lifting up every chosen one listening to this message. You've seen their tears, their struggles, their moments of doubt, and you've called them to this door for such a time as this. Right now, I bind every spirit of fear, every lie of inadequacy, every chain of delay that's tried to hold them back. I loose your divine provision, your overflowing blessings, your unshakable peace over their lives. Father, anoint their hands to write the goals you've placed in their hearts, their voices to reach out in faith, their feet to take the steps you've ordained. Let their obedience spark a revival, break generational curses, and unleash a flood of abundance. In Jesus' name I declare this door open, their destiny activated, and their authority unleashed. Amen. Chosen one, the door is open, and you're already on the other side. The strikes of doubt didn't stop you. Your faith has overcome them. If this prayer has shifted something in your spirit, if you feel the fire of your calling burning brighter, type "I am using my key" in the comments below. Your declaration is a beacon, connecting you with thousands of chosen ones, stepping into their faith journeys together. Share this video now, not tomorrow, not later, but now. Someone in your circle is standing at their own door, trembling with indecision, and your share could be the key that unlocks their breakthrough. If this message has stirred your soul, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps spread this message of divine purpose to more chosen ones, lighting their path to a prosperous life. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay connected to this community of faith. This isn't just a channel. It's a movement of believers claiming their destiny. Thank you, chosen one, for your open heart, your willing spirit, and your courage to act before the strikes could hit. You're not just a spectator. You're a warrior, a trailblazer, a carrier of God's fire. The door is open, your destiny is calling, and heaven is cheering. Keep your eyes on the one who called you, your feet on the path he's prepared, and your heart surrendered to his plan. Until next time, remember, you are chosen, you are called, and you are never alone. Now go, walk through that door, and let your light burn bright for the world to see.